Now, for those of us who haven't watched the film, here's a brief synopsis. Orzo works in the theater. The film begins with a scene where the director circumcises his son in an old synagogue, referring to the religious narrative that led Abraham to sacrifice Ishmael. A new play talks about the birth of a higher man when a higher man is born, people are saved from oppression, suffering, and unite with the Creator. Orzo is the protagonist, but it's clear that the idea of a higher man is not needed right now, as people are not yet ready. Now, let us know briefly about each of your films. So, we'll begin with the first film, that is Behind the Haystacks. So, the director, Asimina, would you like to say a few words as to how the idea of the film came into being, and what inspired you to make the film?
Okay. So, regarding the idea, yes. So, I started thinking, as you already know, that, the film takes place in 2015 during the refugee crisis, when Germany and the other European countries had closed the border, the northern border, and migrants and refugees were gathered in the northern border of Greece. But I started, at the beginning, the first thing I started thinking of was the theme. So the core of the in the core of the film, there is a family, 3 members, a father, mother, and a daughter. So the first thing I was thinking of and I was exploring was a theme which has to do with how everyday people get trapped in a corrupt system. So actually the film is about that, and then all the other elements were drawn in the story, and one idea came after the other, and also the technique of the script and everything. So, you know, the final story was formed.
Thank you. Now, if the actor Ivania wants to say something about the film.
Anyway, hello. For me, it was my first movie. I'm very happy about that role that Asmina gave me. Okay. I learned many things, and I don't know.
You play the role of a
Yeah.
rebellious daughter. So how did you prepare yourself for the role? Was there any preparation behind the role?
Of course, and with Asmina we work a lot together for that role. And it was also in the period of the COVID, the first period of the COVID. So we have time to rehearse a lot, yes, and to find the character, okay. And I don't know, I gave to this character many things for me, because I'm not the same age with my character, but I have many memories. Hedonist?
Strong.
Yes, many strong memories from that age of mine. And I gave to the character, I think, a little bit of passion and brutality, okay, in some scenes. I don't know. That's all, I think.
Okay, thank you. Now, Pierre, do you want to say a few words about the film as to how Did you think about the story? How did it came into being?
Hello. You know, maybe Belle and Sébastien are very famous characters in France. They are a TV show in the 60s with very famous, and after that there are Japan anime and a serial Japan anime, very famous too. And after that, 3 feature films would take place in the Second World War. And now it's my turn to play with this character. So it was very big pressure for a director to play with Belle and Sébastien, because the audience are very attaché, very attentionate with them. So like you, I want to talk about the family, a woman family, a grandmother, a aunt, a single woman who plays the mother of Sébastien, and of course the relationship with a kid and a dog, an animal. And my version of this relationship is not a domestic animal, you know, just a kid who wants to be a master and a dog who submit it, but just a friend, just equal animals and human. Just equal. I want to create this relationship, equal relationship. And I want to talk about the mountain. They are not very big in France, the mountain, and there are many pressure, different pressure. You know, the tourism pressure, the pastoralism with sheep, the predator, wolves are coming in the mountain, and
with wolves and bears.
Yeah, bears too. Yeah, and I think it was a good land for making a movie, because there are many many pressure, different pressure. Yeah.
Orlean, you're a screen veteran. You have done a lot of films, and so what was your experience like working for this film and coming onto this project?
Okay. Yeah, I was so happy to receive this proposition from Pierre, because it was a big film, very popular, very family film, and it's a dream for an actor to do that. It's rare, in fact. And I did many independent films, very authors films, and it was the occasion to be in the film, and very important, and where the subjects, the different subjects that Pierre talked, it was very important, ecology, and it's in reality it's very politic in the same time. It's very politic because this fight between the strategy of everybody, the human life. And so in the film I am a father. I'm not in the trailer because it's a surprise. I'm a big surprise in the film. Yeah, the interest of this character, he is a farmer, and he needs some water, and you'll see what. I don't spoil the film, but he needs absolutely this water. And so it's very clinic. We have the mountain, we have the character, we have this family with the grandmother, daughters, and this farmer with his son, the bad guy in the film, who want this territory, this land. And so it's fight. It's fight. It's not only just tenderness film. So Pierre, and for me it was very interesting for that, because he pushed a little bit the film further in Jack London stories, you know, the call of the forest, and this relationship between dogs and animals and people, and it's strong. It's so we have I'm happy because we have in trailer the, you know, the nice nice things, and at the same time it's more complex, it's more it's more strong, and it's for that I think this film could be great to see by an Indian audience here in this big country and fabulous country.
Definitely, I'm sure the audience will be thrilled to watch this film. Now we move on to Kosnora. So, your film talks about the paradox between the real life and and that on the theater stage. So, how did you think of this film? How did this idea come to you? And how did you manage to like shoot it, and how did the project come to fruition? We have an interpreter for us who will help us with the answers.
Sorry, hello. I just explained for our director.
On fait un team parfait. C'est normal. Je parlerai moins bien, je comprendrai aussi. Je parle pas très bien.
Referans al filmini. Bu filmni ssenariysini 3-4 yil davomida epizod yozib borganman. Bu filmda qisqacha g'oya insoniyat, butun insoniyat dinidan qat'iy nazar, millati, davlatidan qat'iy nazar hamma oliy insonni yaralishini kutadi, butun insoniyat. Va filmda bosh qahramon personaji orqali mana shu insonni tug'ilishi haqida spektakl qo'yishadi teatrda. Lekin yo'q. Lekin okey, tushunyapman. Lekin jamiyat, insoniyat o'sha o'zi kutgan oliy odamni qabul qila olmaydi, dosh bera olmaydi butun jamiyat. Mana shu haqida film, mana shu haqida qisqacha.
She answered about the film. She our writer and director also, and she write this screen 3 or 4 years, and by episode she will try, and this film explained our about the humans to born about super human in the world. She will try to explain in the theater stage the repetition like this screen.
Utkirjan, would you like to say something about the film? As to how, what made you back the project? What did you like about the script?
Bu filmni olinishiga bu saqlanishuvchi rejissyorimiz shu g'oyasini taklifi bilan kelgani uchun, g'oyasi butun o'zimizga yoqib qolganligi uchun shu loyihani qo'llab-quvvatlaganmiz va ishlab chiqarishni boshlaganmiz.
He asked about when to come the writer and director Snorros Matua to come to produce this film. she read the this screenplay synopsis, and he interested in this screenplay and will try to explain by this film, and he provide the director also.
Right, so thank you for a brief introduction about the films. Now the floor is open to questions.
Very good evening. It's for Asmina. Really brilliantly with non-linear, you have chosen to narrate your film with non-linear, with 3 chapters divided between father, mother, and daughter. I have taken one huge risk because more than non-linear or last chapter connecting the dots, film goes like a jigsaw puzzle. Because in very first chapter we can see more flash forward, which will be rejoined in daughter's version. What made you to take such a huge risk? Because in very first narration, we feel it's some information's missing or going as a jump forward, which is a very huge risk. So what made you to take that much risk in saying non-linearity? But it was brilliant.
First of all, just to make it clear, there is linearity in each chapter. So we don't go back and forth. We see the story from the perspective of the father, then we see the story from the perspective of the mother, and then the story from the perspective of the father. In the chapter, we don't go back and forth. So we see 3 different perspectives. So the reason I did that was that I wanted, first of all, I wanted to go very close with each of the main characters. And the second reason is that I wanted to raise dramatic questions about why this father, this guy, is behaving like this, and then why this mother. So there is a puzzle, but towards the end, we understand better the motives of the character. But I want to put the audience in this position of asking themselves, why is he doing like this? So I don't want to give the answers, I want to raise questions. And there's one third reason, is that at the same time, because actually it's a social drama, in the core there is the family, but actually it's a social drama. So we see 3 different people who are pushed to submit to corrupt structures. So each chapter is an exploration of why a person is pushed to be in this position of. So, thank you.
That explains the ambiguous ending in the film.
Sorry,
That explains the ambiguous ending in the film, as in you wanted the audience to make what they want to out of the film, right? Next question.
My question goes to Nora Rose Mostova. Can you sing a Hindi song? Because once I went to Uzbekistan and 2-3 places when they met me and they sang a Hindi song, Mera Joota Hai Japani, and I was very happy. It's like that now also? It means Indian cinema is popular there in Uzbekistan.
Yes.
The question is, in today's time, once upon a time in Soviet Union, Raj Kapoor, the filmmaker from India, very, very famous.
Yes.
Still, people remembering him. Do you have any idea about Indian cinema, today's generation?
this song is so most popular in our Uzbekistan.
Yeah. There is a song which is called Barsat Mein Tak Dena Dena.
Yes, of course.
Awara Hoon. This is Jeena Yahan Marna Yahan kind of. It's a very famous song, Jeena Yahan Marna Yahan, from Mera Naam Joker, film made by Raj Kapoor, legendary. So this was the question, and we just wanted to curiosity, is this Indian cinema, people like it?
And also Hindi films is so most popular in our country,
Wow.
Uzbekistan.
Yes, great, great. Thank you.
My question is for Pierre and Orlean. Belle and Sebastian has had many versions. It was a novel, it was a TV show, it's been adapted in Japan also. So did you, how difficult was it to present a new version of Belle and Sebastian to the audience, and did you modernize it, and how did you change it from the previous versions?
Yeah, it's a very. I try to explain. It's a very famous character. So, but when Gaumont, the distributor, want me for this project, he told me you have a wide card. You know, you make what you want, and it's the first time Belle and Sébastien take place in his age. In the epoch, yeah, in his time, it's for the contemporary, it's the first time. So it was just a little change of course, and I changed all the family because in Belle et Sébastien, Romary is a grandfather and very. Male team, just the dog is a female, but now I want to put Sébastien in a galaxy of women, you know, and that was a big difference for the audience. That's why I think it's different, yeah. And of course. Ecology is a new idea in the movie. Before they're not the problem of Belle and Sébastien. Yeah.
No, just the environment, the ecology. It's a theme of the film, a big theme of the film, and it's so different from the other version of this film, and it's normal. It's today, so we have more expectating for this kind of a subject.
I have another question. For the team of Belle and Sebastian and for Asminia, both your films deal with family. That is the starting point for the films. What makes family such a compelling theme in movies even today? Because we've seen so many versions of family stories.
Je suis sûr de comprendre. Comment j'ai expliqué. I'm not sure to answer exactly. I try. Now it's I like the family, of course, because they're universal. So every people can have a family and recognize him in the family, and the relationship with the kid and the dog have many consequences in the secret family. The family are in just in difficult moment. The grandmother has lost her husband, you know. She's a veuve, I don't know, what. And she lost the connection with her daughter. So Sébastien can, with his character, with his adventure, with many things, connect the family again. So it's different to see. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's a question. That's okay.
It's very interesting in the film because the family of this young kid, it's a monoparental family. The grandfather is died, so it's a family of women, and my side in the film, I have no wife. The wife is disappeared. So it's a monoparental too, and yeah. Under the film, we have all these questions how to live without a part of the family, and it's very strong.
Thank you.
Asvinia?
So, well, I think that the way we behave in our families and the relationships are determining the way we behave in our society. So I think that everybody, I mean, there are the first relationships we have in life, they are very tense, we are determined by them. And also, I think that family relationships are also universal. I mean, international audiences identify with them, the behavior of the father, the daughter, the wife. I mean, of course, there are differences, there are cultural differences, but also there are, quite a lot of similarities.
Thank you.
Please pass the mic.
My question was to Asminia. The film talks about migrant crisis of 2015. So I wanted to ask that we around the world who are reading about the crisis, how the migrants are coping up with their problems. But I want to ask how the Greek population was coping up with this problem. Like, has this been shown in the movie? Like, is this the theme of the movie?
Well, the refugee crisis is an important part of the story, but it's in the background, and all the refugee problem affects the main characters. So, although we see the suffering of the migrants in the film, I'm actually dealing with the way the Greek population was dealing with the migrants, because I wanted to deal with what I know better. Of course, I didn't want to deal with the Syrian refugees problem, because I'm not, I see the problem from a distance. So what was really important for me in the film is to show how this international crisis pushes, because it was a huge political problem, pushes the Greek population and the Greek people. So this was the important thing for me. And you also asked how the Greek people dealt. Okay, it was all over the news, but of course it's a political thing, and it depends on the newspaper. I mean, there were totally different ways of interpreting the problem. But again, there were people who were really affected by the problem. And I don't know if you heard about it. There are people on the islands helping the refugees. So we had everything. I mean, us everywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question to Kushnara. So you have spoken about superhuman in your film, superhuman. So do you read Friedrich Nietzsche? Because he also used the superhuman in his works, Friedrich Nietzsche. So do you have any influence of him on the film?
Nietzsche.
Friedrich Nietzscheni Zaratustra asari haqida gapiryapsiz. Bu asar filmni ichida ham tilga olingan. Filmni ichida tilga olingan. U yerdagi oliy odam, Friedrich Nietzsche aytgan oliy odam, bu sharq filosofiyasida ham bor. Masalan, sofistlarda bor. Bu oliy odam faqat g'arbda Nietzsche aytganidek emas, sharqni sofistlarida ham orzu qilinadi oliy odam. Filmda mana shu oliy odam haqida gap ketadi. Nietzscheni albatta bu asarini o'qiganman. Filmda ham tilga olingan bu.
She asked about the Friedrich Nietzsche, this in the Zardusht days. She also in the screen also explained, and in the West is in the Friedrich Nietzsche, in the East is Sufism. They explained about the superhuman. She will try to explain in the East and the West also to.
So you have referenced both in your film.
Yeah.
She has referenced both or only Sufism related? Yeah. Is it related to only Sufism or she referenced both Nietzsche's philosophy and Sufism in the film?
She will try the both.
Bu filmda g'oya olinmagan. Bu superhuman masalasi faqat Nietzsche aytib o'tmagan buni. Buni butun insoniyat kutadi-ku, super insonni. Butun insoniyat kutadi va oliy inson tug'ilish haqida pyesa teatrda qo'yilmoqchi bo'ladi. Shunda rejissorni mana shu Nietzscheni asaridan olinganmi degan bir savol beradi birov. Filmda shu sifatda kichkina juda qisqa keltirilgan, lekin filmga u g'oya olinmagan. Bu filmdagi Nietzscheni g'oyasi alohida boshqa, filmda juda boshqa alohida.
In the film, Friedrich Nietzsche idea is a little bit explained, but when you watch the screen, theater director in the stage repetition the novel, and he explained about the superhuman when it's born, but also in the theater asked for the director, you take the idea from the Friedrich Nietzsche. He also said no.
Thank you.
Can I add something to the question? A small thing?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So about your question about refugees, I just remembered that you asked about how it is treated in the film also. Okay, so in the film we see the different ways. There were people who were trying to help refugees. I mean, in Greece, there were people who were trying to gain money from them. And there is also the role of the church, which was usually quite conservative, telling to people, not always, but most of the times, that, don't deal with them, they are dangerous, etc. So yeah, there's something that you can see in the film.
Please pass the mic.
What I noticed was you have a commonality between Asminia and Husnora, which is that you're female directors. And in India, we don't have so many women directors yet, even though that is changing. So what is the situation like in Greece and Uzbekistan? And we can get Pierre's perspective also on it.
Me. Okay, so working in the film in general is not the easiest thing for a woman. But mostly in Greece it's really hard to work if you are a DOP or this kind of more technical specialties. But nowadays there are more women of my age that they are making films, mostly short films, but they still, they are making their debut films, etc. But mostly my age. Sorry? Yes, and today there is this woman association, IFFI, in Greece, which is they are having in Greece their festival, and behind the Haystacks has a special screening at the opening ceremony.
Good to know that.
Sorry?
Good to know that one. There is separate event for good to know that one.
Sorry. Thank you, yes.
Menimcha rejissyorlik bu jins tanlamaydi. Rejissyorlikni o'zi na ayol na erkak jinsi bu deb o'ylayman. Faqat rejissyorlik odamdan juda ham ba'zida diktatorlik, shafqatsizlik talab qiladi, ba'zida xuddi yosh boladay juda bir yosh bolaga aylanib qoladi, bir qarasa diktatorga aylanib qoladi. Mana shunday fe'l-atvor hosil qilib qo'yadi rejissyorda. No jins tanlamaydi deb o'ylayman. O'zbekistonda ayol rejissyorlar bor, lekin kam. 3ta 4ta chiqadi soni taxminan.
For your question, she answered. She asked about Uzbekistan. Not more women directors. It's also in Uzbekistan 3 or 4 film directors, and she's tried to shoot the films, and she was interested in the film shootings.
Thank you.
My question is to Pierre. So, Pierre, how hard was it shooting with a dog and a child actor? Because it must have been a challenging experience. So, please tell something about that.
Yeah, it was obviously it's difficult. A child, 10 years, a dog, the mountain, but Belle and Sébastien, I was obliged. So now we are training the dog for 8 months. There are 4 dogs for playing the role. And the dogs know all the action. And when they're exhausted, we change the dog for they just have fun to play with us always. And it was not the same for the kid, of course. But Robinson is the guy who plays Sébastien. It was I was very. It was I saw 2,000 kids before choose him. So it was his first experience to front a camera, and it just very natural, very it's like a documentary of him, you know. He's a very, of course, he's acting, but not so much. It's very brush of his ironic character. So, after that, the mountain, you need to be trained to change your schedule with the weather. When the weather sometimes will be raining, you will change and go inside. So I told to the actor to know all the script, all the text, because the weather means the schedule. You know, well, I don't know exactly, but do you understand?
Yeah, and Robinson has a few friends with him. Two kids to help him.
Hi, so I wanted to ask, what did you expect from Indian audience? Like, will they like the way of your storytelling, and what reaction did you get from Indian audience for all of you?
But the same thing when I make a film, I want the audience to love it, of course. But I think it's a universal message, of course. So I think the audience, Indian audience, can enjoy it, love it, and you are very near to the animals, and I think the mountains are exotic, and it's a very beautiful landscape we too. And of course the story of the family. I think she's the Indian audience can enjoy it. I think, yeah. So maybe if a platform or I want to take it, I will be very très heureux. Ouais. Yeah.
And for as many as this question for everyone.
For everyone.
What did you expect from Indian audience, and what kind of response did you get at the?
Okay. Well, actually, I didn't know what to expect because I was wondering that because of how the audience would relate to the film due to the cultural differences. For example, in my film, there are traditions which are certain traditions in Greece, and the characters, they have certain behavior, like in the Balkans and everything. So I was not sure what to expect. And again, I'm not sure. There's no one audience, of course. One audience, of course. There are, different people with different tastes and everything. But in the end of the film, we were really, really impressed of how, people came from the audience, hugging us and, talking about the film and the layers of the film. And, we felt that there were quite a lot of people who, could understand the meanings and who could relate to the characters. And, although there is, this kind of non-reality, linearity in the film, they got, what's happening in the film, and we were very, excited about that. Yes.
Yeah, hello. Just to add information to Uzbekistan team, we have got in this forum one of our friend, Kumar. His friend has shot in year 2010 one film from Karnataka, Bangalore, fully in Uzbekistan. I think that was the post divide of Russia, other things. Maybe that will be, if I'm right, first Indian film to shot in Uzbekistan in 2010. Just I wanted to add to that team. His friend, K.M. Chaitanya, he is disciple of here one of the biggest filmmaker and playwright, Sri Girish Karnad. Just I wanted to add that one. In year 2000.